To use Azure SQL Managed Identity, start by understanding what Managed Identity is. Managed Identity is a feature in Azure that allows you to authenticate to Azure services without needing to manage credentials. First, enable the Managed Identity for your Azure resource, such as a virtual machine or an Azure function. This is done in the Azure portal, under the Resource Settings. Next, go to Azure SQL Database and add the Managed Identity to the access control list. This grants the Managed Identity access to the database. Then, configure the connection string to use the Managed Identity. This is typically done by using the keyword Managed Identity in the connection string. When connecting to the database, the Managed Identity will be used to authenticate. This eliminates the need to manage credentials, such as usernames and passwords. Best practice is to use Managed Identity for all connections to Azure SQL, as it improves security and reduces the risk of credential exposure. In practical example, if you have an Azure function that needs to connect to Azure SQL database, you can enable Managed Identity for the function, add it to the database access control list, and then use the Managed Identity in the connection string. This approach provides a secure and scalable way to manage access to Azure SQL database, and is recommended for all Azure deployments. Key concepts to keep in mind are that Managed Identity is a feature of Azure Active Directory, and that it can be used with a variety of Azure services, including Azure SQL Database. By following these steps and using Managed Identity, you can improve the security and manageability of your Azure SQL database, and ensure that your applications are properly authenticated and authorized. In summary, using Azure SQL Managed Identity is a straightforward process that involves enabling the Managed Identity, adding it to the database access control list, and configuring the connection string. By doing so, you can take advantage of a secure and scalable way to manage access to your Azure SQL database.